Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, November 1st, 2018. Happy Thursday, happy first day of November. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame, but before we start with that, I do want to invite you to join us here later on this afternoon. If you go to pivotboss.com, click on news, it'll take you down here to the news section, and you'll see Join Me Thursday for our November monthly market outlook. Basically, you can click that link or any of these links here and you will get the link for the afternoon session. I will be hosting the monthly market outlook to talk about where the market might be going in November and heading into the end of the year. We'll be looking at prospecting for candidates. We'll talk about the October sell-off and how we were able to anticipate it. And basically, the previous monthly outlook that we hosted in October was a perfect tell for the potential selling opportunity that we saw this month. And again, we will be talking about what November likely brings, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the pre-market report here. If you want to join the webinar, it'll be this link here. You can click it right at 3:30 p.m. Central, or even earlier. I'll open the room about 15 minutes earlier while I'm doing some pre-work there for the webinar. You can also see it's this afternoon, November 1st. You can download the Join Me app. It is free. That's the best way to join, or you can just click the link and go inside your browser. So again, please join me. Please forward this link to anybody that you think may be interested in what we'll be doing. We'll be covering stocks, futures, options, anything and everything. We're also going to talk about group rotation analysis and how to use that here, because it's been something that where money is flowing from one group into another, especially as the market structure starts to break down. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So please join me later on this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. All right, let's take a look now at the market. If you take a look here at the ES, we have pulled back. Again, this pullback is a counter trend move right now to the current existing trend. The trend is down right now. The trend is down. You have a high, then you have a lower low, then you have a lower high and a lower low. And now, is this going to be a lower high? Is this pullback going to lead to another push downward? That's the question we have to ask ourselves right now. You can see for the month, the pivot range is lower. That's a lower value relationship. I discussed this concept in my book, Secrets of a Pivot Boss. You can see an uptrending market here, and you want to buy the dips at that zone until it breaks. And when it breaks, it's likely going to be significant. And then the next pullback is usually a selling opportunity, at least on the first try, on the next lower value relationship. So right now, any push into these three pink lines here could be met with major resistance that could lead to at least a retest of the recent low ahead. So that's going to be something to keep in mind here. If price can push through, say, the 27.42 half, 27.50, and maintain acceptance above that zone, that could be significant. And it starts with holding above 2700, the 2700 level. Any failure to hold that today could be a major selling opportunity here ahead. So right now, currently holding above 2700, but still below the 2750, kind of in that in-between zone. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Very similar price action here as well. Downtrending market right now, and we're on the pullback phase. We have a clear downtrend. It has a lower value relationship. We haven't quite tested the pivot range for the month just yet. But again, that's going to be an area to watch, because if there's a rejection there, it could be significant and it could lead to a retest of the recent low. Now this one needs to hold above 6,900 overall. That's 6,900 right here. That's the bottom of the key range. Any pullback here, if that can be held, or 6,850 can be held, then perhaps we can slingshot a little bit higher here. But again, with a downtrending market, any failure to hold, especially 6,950 early on, which is the previous month's close, could be an early indication of selling pressure ahead. So that's something to look for. If we take a look at crude oil, you'll notice right here, crude oil is holding at lows, and this is one of the smallest ranges that you'll see. It's 29% of ADR right now. If I bring this up and make it a one-day look back right here, you'll see this is the daily bar right there, and that's the histogram bar for today's developing bar. It's only 55 cents. So if you look over here, on that line, or if you look over here, it's 55 cents. That's 29% of average. It averages $1.79 on a 10-day basis right now, or $1.80 plus on a 5-day basis. So it's been averaging quite a bit. It's only 55 ticks. It's very tiny little box range down here, and that little box range right there could see major expansion today. Which way do we go? The previous month's close and low are very close to each other right here. If those go bid, usually you see some sort of bounce back toward the previous month's midpoint, and then if it gets to that level, the previous month's high. That's way out there, but at the very least, that going bid would take you somewhere into the zone from today's low. That would also represent a high probability target zone between 70.30 and 72.18. So that's something to look for the month if this area goes bid. So the one to look for right now is, can price push above 65.20, 65.25? If it does today, at the very least, we could be looking at a retest back towards 66 to 66.30. If it can't hold that level, watch out below. We still have quite a bit more downside before we flush some of these lows. 63.41 would be the next key level down. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold's had quite a pullback over the last few days. I mentioned before that the best buy of the month could be buying the 1216s on the first trading day. It's already happening. The low here is 1216.10, and it's bouncing 10 handles. So again, this has been a very strong market. The market structure has held 1220s. The midpoint was 1216, and that's right where it closed. Look at the narrow pivot range. It's almost basically the same level. We talked about the higher value relationship, and any pullback to that zone could be defended. Now, again, a failure point would be failing to hold that zone here this month. If this thing can't hold, it could get interesting. But at the moment, the bulls have done just enough to keep this thing bid, just enough to keep that low intact and keep market structure intact as well. So does that lead to the next push to 1287s? I mentioned 1216 to 1287 could be the play of the month there if they can keep that area bid. All right, lastly, let's take a look at RTY. This one here, while the market was rallying, was not really participating as much in the prior session, and as a matter of fact closed back below 2-day highs, left behind a bit of a rejection tail, and right now is retesting the midpoint zone of the previous session. Again, if there's any failure to maintain acceptance above 1519, 1520 today, that could be an early indication of selling pressure to come. So again, this is very close to seeing another major round of selling pressure. Usually you don't just get one round and then this and then just go back up. If you're going to sell off like this, you get a one round, boom, you sell off again, you get another round, boom, you get another round, until you flush and hit a major low. And so we're almost there. Why not get there? This is the major low right here that we're shooting for, is that low right there. That's about the 1419 zone. I mean, that's just one good push lower to reach that low, flush it, and then return back to value. That would be a high probability bounce when we get there, but we're not quite there just yet. So this one, again, overall the level was 1517s yesterday. We closed right around there. Can price continue to hold below 1520 today? If so, we could be looking at a retest of lows and much lower early in the month. Otherwise, this is going to be interesting here. Again, if this starts to find acceptance above 1530, that's where this thing really starts to open some upside. So 1530 would be the level for bulls to start kind of chiseling away at. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session and the new month of trading. Please join me later on this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Central for our November monthly market outlook. Trade well, and I'll see you all in the trading room. Take care.